Well, happy Monday, guys. It's your boy Stas here. Got my good old double espresso. Cheers, by the way. I appreciate you all for tuning in as stocks, well, are not looking so pretty. We're down across the board. The VIX is up 9%, and oil is moving, guys. Brent's up over 5%, and crude oil, WTI crude oil, is up 3%. So we have to break down what the heck's going on in the Middle East, why stocks are selling off, why oil is going up, and we'll break down a couple earnings quickly and stocks I'm looking at right now. So guys, of course, take a sip of your coffee, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and let's dive right into the video. So the S&P 500, and by the way, it's about noon, 12:30 on the East Coast right now. We're down about 0.5% on the S&P, and pretty much everybody's going to say we were due for a pullback, and this is not even a big pullback by any means, guys. It's a tiny little sell-off, and we were due. I mean, we just hit all-time highs on Friday, for Pete's sake, guys, at $725 a share, and again, now SPY's down 0.4, 0.5%, big whoop, right? Whoop-de-doo, and now we're trading right around that 50 moving average on this 4-hour chart, which we've held throughout this entire reversal pretty much since the beginning of April. So about a month now, SPY's held that level. And the Qs, let's see, probably the same thing. Yeah, we're trading well above the 50 SMA, obviously well above the 180 SMA as well. And the Qs are down 0.3%. Nothing much, after they also hit all-time highs. Wait, they might have hit all-time highs in the overnight market again. About 677, and obviously we hit all-time highs on Friday on the Qs as well. And the Dow Jones is down, let's see, about 1%, leading the losses here, which the Dow, we still have that cup and handle, so let's see if that ends up ultimately playing out, but it doesn't look like it wants to play out today, as we're down, like I said, 1%, about 400 or 500 points on the Dow, and the Russell's down 0.8%. Not too much there, not too bad. After this also hit all-time highs last week, and it looks like earlier today, the Russell hit all-time highs this morning at 2,800 points. And wait, actually, no, it didn't hit all-time highs on Friday. I lied there. It almost did. I think it got 5-6 points away, and today we got it. So what a move the markets have been making. I mean, it's been insane, right? So we were due for a little drawdown. And with what's going on in the Middle East, it makes sense we're getting this drawdown. The VIX is up 9%. Again, Brent crude oil is now at 114 a barrel, up over 5%. WTI's up 3%. It's at 105 a barrel. So let me run over some of these headlines. We're not going to go too deep into all this stuff, guys, because quite frankly, I want to break down stocks I'm looking at, some earnings, and this is not a geopolitical channel, you know that, but it does relate here to the stock market, so we are going to cover this as it is causing, some some volatility here. So you guys can see the headline: United Arab Emirates warns of Iranian attacks as U.S. claims progress in the Strait of Hormuz. And speaking of the Strait of Hormuz, guys, we can see, let's zoom in here a little bit. The United Arab Emirates on Monday today said an Iranian drone sparked a fire at an oil facility in Fujairah, which I know I'm butchering that, but in that location, which is a key pipeline hub used to bypass the Strait of Hormuz, right? So, boom, a drone sparked a big fire there, and shortly after this report, the British military said a cargo ship off the coast of the Emirates was ablaze, right? And the UAE issued its first 3 missile alerts on Monday since the shaky ceasefire between Iran and the U.S. took hold almost 4 weeks ago. So that's kind of a big deal. And earlier on Monday, U.S. forces launched an effort to guide commercial ships through the strait, where hundreds have been stuck since the Iran war since the war began. And 2 American-flagged merchant ships have successfully transited through the critical waterway, the U.S. military said, And separately, the U.S. military denied Iran's claims that it struck an American Navy vessel southeast of the strait. And another piece of news here, which you guys probably heard of by now, but Iran handed over its latest proposal for negotiations with the United States to mediators in Pakistan, Iran state media reported on Friday, and President Donald Trump, I think I made a video on this a couple days ago, subsequently said he's not satisfied with it, but did not elaborate on that. And meanwhile, Trump also claimed that the war has been terminated because of the ceasefire, an interpretation that would allow him to skirt the war powers resolution, which requires Congress to authorize military action that extends beyond 60 days, right? And Trump called this law unconstitutional, and its May 1st deadline passed without action after lawmakers left town. And now we're hearing 3 Indian nationals were injured in that Fujairah attack, which again, I'm butchering that. I apologize. But authorities in Fujairah said an Iranian drone that sparked a fire at an oil facility left 3 Indian nationals injured. The authorities said in a statement they suffered medium wounds and were transferred to the hospital. So that's some breaking news here. What's going on in the Middle East? Again, this fire at the oil facility, this is not ideal in the short term, right? It's causing oil prices to go up in part here, and the VIX to go up, stocks to start selling off a bit. It's causing more uncertainty. Things are escalating slightly, and the market's like, okay, when is this going to end, right? When are we actually going to get a deal? Who knows at this point? You know, we all knew it wasn't going to happen super quick. I mean, we're not that naive in terms of, oh, we're going to get a deal on the first day, right? I mean, come on. But at this point, it's, when are we going to get it? Who knows? Who knows? What do you guys think? The VIX is now up over 10%. WTI Brent is up 6%. Or we can see here, Brent's up 6%. What's it called? WTI is up 3.5%. Yeah, we're creeping up on these prices, and the entire market's down, but not everything is down. A lot of these crypto stocks are moving. I mean, look at, by the way, Bitcoin hit over 80K today. It's at 8,500 right now. Shout out to Bitcoin. It's starting to get some momentum past 80, which I love to see. And that's why you're seeing a lot of these crypto stocks going bananas. Circle Internet Group is up 18% today, guys, heading into their earnings. I think next week, a week from today, next Monday, we have Circle's earnings, so they're gaining some insane momentum. We're starting to take out the highs from a couple weeks ago, and now we're going for the highs. It looks like here the middle of March, being about 135, 140. That's where this is trying to go, in my opinion. We also have Coinbase. They have earnings later this week. Coinbase is up 7% for obvious reasons, as again, Bitcoin's moving, and this is great for overall crypto trading volumes. Bitcoin going higher brings more enthusiasm into the crypto space, more trading. It's pretty common sense, right? So we have that cup and handle on Coinbase. It looks like this might be playing out, but I'm waiting till earnings. We'll see how they go. I think they're on the 7th, so they're on Thursday after the bell. And Robinhood, guys, Robinhood is moving, which I bought some shares last week after earnings. I bought in pretty quickly. I mean, I saw the drop and I rushed in. I mean, I didn't rush in, but you guys know Robinhood's a stock that I've been eyeing up now for a while to start a position, and I was kicking myself a little bit when it ran to 90, 92 a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh man, not even a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, it ran to $92 a share, and I was like, dang it, I missed it again. And then once they tanked after earnings, boom, I pounced on it. I knew that was an opportunity, and now we're at, 76, 77 a share, up 4% on the day, and earlier we hit over $78 per share, and I'm still holding. I didn't sell out. I think my shares are at $72 roughly, so Robinhood at this point, is benefiting from Bitcoin rising, and Bitcoin's not fully breaking out yet, but I'm telling you, once it starts getting to 85, 90, 100K, these stocks are going to go berserk. I think Robinhood easily goes to $100 a share, easily, when Bitcoin gets back to 85, 90, 95, 100K. It's in the bag, in my opinion. It almost got to $100 when Bitcoin was still in the high 70s, man. Robinhood hit $92 a share about 2 weeks ago, and Bitcoin wasn't even moving that much at that point. So keep that in mind. And look, Robinhood is seeing a bit of resistance at about 78 a share. Let me zoom in and show you guys here. 78 is or was the high from the 8th of April, also the 18th of March. So if we're able to get out of that point, I think the first gap to fill is right at 81, 81.25. Then if that breaks, we could be going quickly to 85 a share. That would be the next gap. So right now we're seeing a little resistance at about 78. Also right by this 50 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. But at the end of the day, guys, this is still a hold in my opinion. I think there's a lot more room to go. And if you look at it this way, we also arguably have an inverse head and shoulders on Robinhood. You know, you guys see the left shoulder here, kind of not the cleanest, but I mean, it is there. I mean, depends on how you look at it. But yeah, Robinhood, I see it. And clearly, we've been building support at the 70s, mid-high 60s, really 65 to 75 a share. We've been building support there for the last 3 months. And again, I think it's going to take off, man, when Bitcoin really starts to rip. And that could be now. So Robinhood's crushing it. Circle Internet Group, Coinbase, and Micron, man. Micron keeps on going. And this is one that I actually got out of last week. And I had a feeling I sold a little too early. But you know me, guys. I like locking in profits. I was up 50% overall on the position in a very short amount of time. And I had a feeling it was gonna go up again or more, right? And here we are. It got all the way to 592. So at this point, man, memory stocks keep on ripping. And SanDisk hit another all-time high. I think Micron could touch 600, but we are due, in my opinion, for a pullback. Not a crash, not a collapse, but I think Micron is due for a pullback. Maybe back to the high 400s, maybe mid 400s. It kind of depends, right? But the strength in these memory stocks makes me believe we might not even get that big of a pullback. Who knows, right? So keep your eyes on Micron, all the stocks just mentioned. We had some earnings this morning, not too crazy. I mean, we had Norwegian Cruise Lines report. They're down 8% on the day right now. We actually hit a multi-month low on the stock. That's not ideal. Looks like Norwegian did adjusted EPS of 23 cents versus 14 cents expected on sales of 2.33 billion versus 2.35 billion. So they beat EPS, missed on sales, and it looks like they lowered their full year adjusted EPS guidance from $2.38 to $1.45 to $1.79 versus the $2.11 expected. Ooh, I wonder why. Higher costs, right? With oil prices going up, it makes sense. They see Q2 adjusted EPS of 38 cents versus 52 cents expected. And looks like here they said headwinds include higher fuel costs. Obviously, I just said that. Signs of softer demand as consumers reevaluate their travel plans. That's real, man. That's real. And it's affecting these cruise line companies. And at the end of the day, it might affect them for some quarters to come. Ultimately, I think there'll be great turnaround plays once oil comes back down, once, the war or whatever, the conflict is wrapped up. I think these will be great turnaround plays, but the timing, you got to time them right. And it's just not that time yet, in my opinion. I mean, sure, you could buy into the weakness and wait, but if you want to kind of time the reversal, we're not there yet, at least with NCLH. So TSN is the next one here, the last stock we're going to cover, guys. Tyson Foods, I know, super exciting, Tyson Foods, but they just reported earnings, and their stock is up about 2.5–3%. Pretty good, actually. And we can see where are their numbers at, guys. I can't even find them here. Where the heck are the numbers? So they reported, okay, here we go. Adjusted EPS, 87 cents. That beat the 78 cents expected on sales of $13.65 billion versus $13.61 expected. So a double beat out of Tyson Foods. Let's see. Their beef sales volume's down 13%. I wonder why. Chicken sales volume up 1.7%. I mean, beef is more expensive usually, right? I mean, it is. So maybe less people are opting for beef. Chicken is cheaper. Those sales are up. Volume's up 1.7%. Let's see here. They expect full year 26 sales growth of around 2 to 4%. Pretty good. We can see anything else. They see full year 26 chicken segment adjusted operating income of 1.9 to 2.05 billion. So not too bad there. And on the charts, we have a clear inverse head and shoulders with, resistance right where we're at, 65, 66 a share. So this potentially, if it takes out 66, this might fly even more. This could go to $70, guys. It could go even higher. So I'm going to actually set my alert, might as well, at 66 a share. Mark is at or above. Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on it. Ticker TSN. And again, keep your eyes on all these stocks mentioned. Micron, Robinhood, I love those two. Even though I'm not in Micron right now, I'm probably going to get back in on the dip, guys. Patience is key. But Robinhood, I'm still in. I think there is more upside there, and I'm holding tight. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Follow along for more. Hit the subscribe button and join the Patreon if you guys want to keep up with my actual portfolio updates. You see everything I'm buying, all my trades, investments, how I'm creating income by selling options. All of that is on Patreon, and you get access to my private Discord, guys. Check it out. Link down below, pinned in the comments as well, or go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon. And with that being said, cheers. I'll see you all in the next video.